All right, everyone, we've got very good news, which is that for June, you had almost 5 million jobs added to the U.S. economy. Of course, this is part of the V-shaped recovery, and oh boy, what a V-shaped slope it now resembles. Remember, people were talking about 2.5 million jobs in May being added and how great that was. It was funny because right before the report came out, Rachel Maddow actually had a bit where she's like, I bet the jobs report will be dismal. It's going to be a bad day for Trump. I have a feeling it's going to be a lot below expectations. No V-shaped recovery. It's a V-shaped recovery. Now, will this hold true for July? I think it will slow down slightly. I think you'll add a few less jobs in July, and I'll tell you why. Because of this semi-mythical second wave bullshit about COVID, a lot of people are now talking about like perpetual close downs. Like, we're going to keep schools closed forever. You'll never be able to get elective surgery. You'll never be allowed to go to your job except for telecommuting. And the new norm is 25% unemployment or something. That appears to be what the Democrats especially want. But even people like Greg Abbott half cucked out and now talks about how everyone's going to have to wear a mask forever in Texas. Well, that's just dumb, to tell the truth. Mask manufacturers are happy, though. They're cleaning up. Oh, man, I wish that I had invested, like when the market first plunged. I wish I had taken all of my money and put it in a company that produced surgical masks, in all honesty, and then a couple months later would have to sell it off because it'll crash. That's, by the way, disclaimer, I'm not a legal advisor or anything like that. You invest at your own risk. I hate having to say things like that. I have to say that every time I mention marijuana, too. Disclaimer, you shouldn't smoke marijuana, it's bad for you. But, it never killed anybody, so big problem. But the V-shaped recovery is definitely here. This is the best case scenario for Trump, the worst case scenario, by the way, for the Democrats, who talked about how it wouldn't happen. Who talked about how it was impossible. Well, we just got to get used to this. It'll be a long climb, long, hard road out of hell. Well, it looks like more of a short but a steep incline out of hell. 4.8 million, this drops the unemployment rate to about 11% in a single month. Now, it was soaring. Now, this is not perfect. Unemployment is still high, especially among certain working class blocks. That's bad. There is still massive unemployment. But it dropped significantly. That is a significant drop in unemployment. By, what is it, 2.5 points or something in unemployment? And we keep this up through November, more or less. Unemployment will be back in the mid-single-digit range. It'll have mostly healed. And it might not be such a disastrous fiscal year after all. We might just make it, everybody. We might actually be able to leave a recession before the election. Now, the Democrats, of course, are doing literally everything that they can to keep as much lockdown going in their states as possible, because Orange Man bad and they want people to feel the pinch, because they know that ultimately they won't be largely blamed for it, even if it's explicitly their fault, even if it's based on a bunch of basically superstitious paranoia at this point. The idea of keeping things perpetually closed, making everyone wear masks forever, you're never going to be allowed to have a party, you'll never go to another concert, theaters will all go out of business, every public place will be cleared, you're not allowed to do anything except sit there like a lump on your fucking computer, which is, by the way, the worst thing that you can do for a population if you want it to be healthy, is to keep it physically inactive and inside. Anyway, I mean, it's ridiculous. But they're going to pull out all stops to make sure that happens, you bet. You watch. Magically, they'll have an excuse for why they would end all lockdowns forever in November if Biden wins. If Biden wins, you can look for them to immediately open everything back up to try to make it look like he's some sort of economic whiz kid. That's exactly what'll happen. Thankfully, I don't think that that's going to occur. Look, the economy's stupid. People vote with their wallets. If people's wallets are a bit more full, by November, it'll be a good thing. Why do you think the Republicans are holding off trying to extend and increase unemployment and introduce soft communism with temporary UBI that I guarantee would not be temporary? Because they know that the economy's headed in the right direction. The free market will fix it. What you need to do is rip apart regulations, do away with all sorts of taxes, fire a bunch of bureaucrats. You need to do stuff like that. We need to clean house. We need a great restoration of a great economy. Well, we don't have that right now. We're moving in the right direction, but we don't yet have it. It's sort of like a Reagan on steroids. That was the one positive thing that he did, was for a couple years freeze spending. Of course, he had to begin growing the government thereafter. That was the one truly great thing that he did. And it's funny because he freaked them all out and they thought that he was going to start slashing and burning the government and firing every federal worker and Social Security will go bye-bye. You hear it right now. They're talking about how Trump is going to endanger Social Security. Trump is trying to rip apart the Affordable Care Act to dump everyone off of their health care. That won't happen. I'm sorry. The states built their own sub-regulations, and that's not even what the Trump admin wants to do. They want to do away with the ACA and restore the pre-existing condition mandate separately. You know what? You need a 2 or 3 page bill to do that. They can build it in a single weekend. The one unfortunate thing that I would say is that they're trying to go ahead with this without making the replacement known beforehand. I want to see the replacement for pre-existing conditions and extended coverage, which both of those, widely supported by the American public. It makes sense. I support them too. Equal protection is pretty clear. Make the bill first. Make sure it has wide-reaching bipartisan support. Get the Democrats to sign off on it before you get rid of the rest of the ACA, and then immediately pass it without riders. That's what you need to do, because otherwise, I tell you what, the Democrats will try to hamstring the Republicans into giving them a whole bunch of concessions and say, well, we won't pass it without those concessions. And when the Republicans balk, like they always do, then people's insurance will lapse. And that'll hit the Republicans in the cock hard. It seems like they haven't realized this blind spot at the moment. Sucks to be them. Trust me, I'm used to the Republicans doing dumb shit. They do dumb shit more than the Democrats do. The Democrats just do evil shit. It's an old joke. They're both dumb and evil for the most part, but that's the way DC works. Yeah, the swamp, don't bother draining it. Let the tide come back in and wash the filth of DC away. It's like that time that there was that DC earthquake. I was hoping that it was a 10.2 on the Richter scale. Just do away with it. That would have been great. So yeah, we got a V-shaped recovery continuing. Hopefully it continues next month. But don't expect 4.8. I think it'll be 3 point something. It'll be good. It'll still be a V-shaped recovery, but it'll slow down a bit because a lot of these states are reintroducing restrictions, and that's going to fuck a lot of businesses. Yeah, like if I have to stay open, because I have mouths to feed and shit, but I'm being told I'm at 50% capacity, well, I only need 50% of my employees now, don't I? The Democrats appear not to care about this. They would rather put those people on unemployment perpetually. And they're using it as an excuse to try to make the swing for UBI. They want communism, which is exactly what UBI is. That's about all. Peace out.